and we will select one, and then that will be brought forward to superintendents.
Now we're ready for 11.
Okay. For Frost MTU has opened, and they're going to be seeing students 2 days a week. Now, we need to address how to pay for the cost of the Frost facility, the utilities, the maintenance, services for Frost, and basically the other MTUs we have are part of our facilities plan, so we kind of needed to come up with a new process here. And what we're recommending is that the actual costs for the Frost MTU be used in the calculation of the charges and reimbursements based on the number of students with IEP receiving those MTU services. So we have projected costs, and actually we just got notice the other day that there were some additional charges that we didn't have in this projected budget, because trash and landscaping, when we originally met back in August with the county representatives, they said there would be no charge for trash or landscaping, and Janet wasn't at that meeting, and so I guess there was a miscommunication because we met with the facilities people, and so that needed to be added, but I don't think it'll change the projected budget significantly. Did you get actual costs?
I don't have any actual costs. And one of the things with Frost, the districts are basically paying all of those operational costs, whether you're paying them for the students that are going to school at Frost or the MTU. So basically what we did was we divided it out by square footage, and we're getting basically the MTU's charges approximately this much. So it's going to be made up from those two pieces. So we're going to have to take a look at it, and I think there's going to be some more discussion that our piece is going to be 10% of the total. That's what that second email came out saying maybe that. So we're going to have to discuss it in November.
From Janet that confirmed that.
And she talked about it, she just sent one, that she's going to talk about it in November when we do the mid-year, when we do the initial 50% for Frost. So it's going to be kind of taken care of.
All right. But right now, they're asking us for account codes, and we have to go ahead and pay these charges. So, some of these charges are individual charges for Frost. So, the carpet cleaning is just the carpet at Frost that's being cleaned 2 times a year based on the square footage of the unit. The cost is determined. The utilities, there's no separate meters, so that's where we're having kind of this I guess revisiting some of this, because originally what we had come to look at was we computed the square footage of the MTU in relation to the square footage of the entire Frost. It's 20% of the square footage of the MTU is 20% of the Frost building. And then because they were only open 2 days a week, they wouldn't be using some of these services every day of the week, so using that, it brought it down to 10% of the Frost expense. So if that changes, basically, as Catalina said, the facilities expense that you get charged from Frost gets adjusted one way or the other, and it's made up by the MTU or decreased by the MTU. So we just want approval that these would be shared costs, and the costs would be based on students receiving MTU services, whereas the current facility charges for Frost are based on students attending Frost, the other piece of the facilities cost. So any concerns?
This is in alignment, the amount that we do for, if you had a site, a classroom on your site for last year, the cost was about $13,000. So it's comparable to what a district would be getting credit for if they were on their district. So it's in alignment cost-wise.
Kind of one of those necessary evils, the MTU.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. 0910 annual performance reports. Well, that seems like a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
and these are our most current annual performance reports. And so I just added them to the graph that we've done in the previous years. And so you take a look at statewide assessments, students, special ed students who are proficient in English language arts. And I think the important thing to note is for the most part, our trend keeps going up, so you continue to make progress. I was just astounded by the civil rights report that indicated that it was either 3 or 5% of special ed students are in advanced placement classes. If they were advanced placement classes, they probably wouldn't be in special ed. The 3% probably corresponds quite closely to our students with low incidence disabilities who don't qualify based on their academic deficits, but on other sensory deficits and physical deficits. But just thought that was just such great data. And I felt there was a discrepancy. So math, we can look at the trends, and for the most part, people are doing quite well. If you particularly see a district who's doing really well, you may want to find out what they're doing.
We did a presentation for the principals beginning of last year, or not principals, directors. You can do it again if you want.
It was an awesome presentation.
We'll be happy to.
It really was. So, and your principals did that, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
They
that
planned
was,
it, they did everything.
it was the most wonderful presentation. Really, it was great.
The credit goes to the teachers.
For the most part, we're seeing the correct trend, so that's a good thing. One of the other things they always look at is this least restrictive environment, and so the amount of time out of regular education being less than 21%, and that trend is actually supposed to be going down. And we've never quite followed the trends on these two items. No, wait, that one's supposed to be going up. So some districts are going up, some districts are already pretty well up there. I don't know that you can do much better than this. And then being out of regular education is supposed to be going down, and here we don't see consistent trend lines. And there's been a lot of discussion, especially in our elementary districts, where the concept of providing a double dose of English language arts is a research evidence-based practice, and doesn't really allow you to meet these benchmarks. So
Does that include
probably
our
need
kids
to take a
counting?
look at this in relation to achievement and see if you're doing the right thing.
Do these numbers reflect county participants that belong to the district?
Yes, your county kids are. County does have a separate CDP code, but it's only for their where they have separate sites, so they're alt ed, or I think the hall goes into there. So they get a report, but it's usually mostly blank. And actually, they get one report for the entire county, so I can't break it out by East Valley, West End, or Desert Mountain.
Look it up again.
So your other kids are back.
So that does include anybody we send to a county?
So, in terms of students who are in a separate facility, I think you really need to look at the access that shows, we're really only up to 6, this graph only goes up to 6%. So while some of the bars may look a little high to you, you have to look at public school, if they're at Gibson, where there's no, if they're at a placement where there are no other general education students.
So would the preschools count? as that?
Preschool would count, the county
The
preschools.
county.
You know, the preschools where you have, you know, well, there are regular campuses with 50% of the kids, those don't count. And then graduating with a regular diploma, that only applies to the high school districts. And in a couple of cases, we've seen a little slippage, but this is one of these that they kind of change the rules about it once in a while. So it's hard to assess the data.
Well, actually, I remember in Chafee, they adjusted it so you could not count, a waiver no longer counted, even though they were allowed to have one. They had to get a diploma without using accommodations, which seemed to be
If
contradictory
you
of
don't
what.
get it in 4 years, you don't count. So if you're, you know, you get it as a fifth year senior. So, I mean,